Good evening, everyone. Myself, Dr. Vivek Agarwala, medical oncologist from Narayana Super Speciality Hospital, Howrah, and Anand Tagore Hospital, Kolkata. And I congratulate Dr. Sudeep Gupta and Dr. Shona Nag for conducting yet another successful year in review. And thank you for having me here. I have been asked to review the following two abstracts. We'll straight away go to the first abstract. So this one was presented last year in ESMO 2021. This is regarding the primary outcome of the phase 3 TULIP trial comparing trastuzumab duocarmazine to physician choice of treatment in patients with pre-treated HER2 positive, locally advanced or metastatic breast cancer. So, trastuzumab duocarmazine is an antibody drug conjugate, which the antibody is the trastuzumab, which is linked to the cleavable linker duocarmazine, and the active toxin, which is the payload, is DUBA, which is a DNA alkylating agent. It has a good drug to antibody ratio ranging from 2.4 to 2.8. And this TULIP trial is focused on the use of trastuzumab duocarmazine. The phase 3 trial, which included metastatic or locally advanced palliatively treated HER2 positive breast cancers, which have received 2 or more lines of treatment or have received TDM1 for metastatic disease, and treated brain mets were allowed. The patients were randomized 2:1 to receive trastuzumab duocarmazine 1.2 milligram per kg every 21 days and physician's choice of treatment to be continued till progression or unacceptable toxicity. The primary endpoint was centrally assessed PFS, and the secondary endpoints were OS, overall response rate, and quality of life. The different treatment choices that were available in the other arm were lapatinib plus capecitabine, trastuzumab plus capecitabine, trastuzumab plus vinorelbine, and trastuzumab plus eribulin, which are quite standard treatment options. The patients were also stratified as per the regions that they belong to, the number of prior lines of treatment, 1 to 2 versus more than 2, and whether they were priorly treated with pertuzumab or not. So this is the primary endpoint of progression-free survival, and we can see the trastuzumab duocarmazine, the median PFS is 7 months as against 4.9 months in physician's treatment choice, which is almost 2.1 months higher, with a significant hazard of 0.64 and a significant p-value. Almost all the patients have benefited from trastuzumab duocarmazine, except the patients who had a performance status of ECOG 2. This is the overall survival result, and we can see that the overall survival results are not much different, although there is a numerical benefit of around 4 months to 20.4 months as against 16.3 months. These are the response rate, and we can see that the response rates are also not very different in physician's treatment choice and trastuzumab duocarmazine. The overall response rate is 27.8% versus 29.5%. Regarding the toxicity, so trastuzumab duocarmazine has special ocular toxicity whereby patients have conjunctivitis or keratitis. So almost 21% patients had grade 3 or higher ocular toxicities requiring discontinuation and dose modification around 22% patients. Also, around 7.6% patients had interstitial lung disease, which was grade 3 or higher in 2.4% patients, and it was also resulted in fatality in around 2.1% patients. So the conclusion of the TULIP study was that the PFS was significantly improved with trastuzumab duocarmazine from 7 months in comparison to physician choice of treatment, that is 4.9 months in HER2 positive metastatic breast cancer with 2 or more prior lines of treatment or have received TDM1 in metastatic setting. Now coming to the second abstract. So this second abstract, although this is a HER2 positive session, the second abstract is actually related to datopotamab deruxtecan, which is to be used in advanced or metastatic HER2 negative breast cancers in the triple negative breast cancer cohort of the phase 1 Tropion Pan Tumor 1 study. So this study was presented in the last year SABCS. So datopotamab deruxtecan is a antibody drug conjugate where the antibody is directed towards the TROP2 receptor, the same receptor which sacituzumab govitecan targets. So it is an anti-TROP2 Ig1 monoclonal antibody, and the payload here is the topoisomerase 1 inhibitor, which is linked to a tetrapeptide-based cleavable linker. Here, the potency of the payload is good, and the drug-to-antibody ratio is 4. So the phase 1 tropion pan-tumor 1 study was actually across all many metastatic solid tumors in relapsed refractory setting, and the patients were unselected for TROP2 expression, and stable and treated brain metastases were allowed. So they used this compound in NSCLC, in triple negative breast cancer, and other types of tumor, including small cell, bladder cell, or gastric cancers. And in this study, they have presented the results in the TNBC cohort. The primary objective was safety and tolerability, as well as the efficacy, which was the secondary objective. So in the TNBC cohort, there were 44 patients which were treated, out of which 70% discontinued treatment, and there was only one patient who discontinued due to adverse event, while the rest 68% had actually disease progression, where 30% were still had treatment being ongoing on datopotamab deruxtecan. These are the baseline characteristics, and to note is that 11% of the patients were having brain metastasis, and the median line of prior treatment was 3. 68% patients had received 2 or more lines of treatment, and 30% patients had also received antibody drug conjugates like patritumab deruxtecan, sacituzumab govitecan, as well as trastuzumab deruxtecan. So almost 10 patients had received sacituzumab govitecan also. So if you look at the response rates, the overall response rate was 32%, and the stable disease was 39%. So the clinical benefit rate was around 77%. And if you look at the cohort which had not received any prior topoisomerase 1 based antibody drug conjugate, then the overall response rate in that cohort was 52%. This is the duration of disease control, which was not reached. And overall, grade 3 or more toxicities were seen in 45% patients, and dose reduction or interruption was required in around 18 to 14% patients, where a discontinuation was only in one patient, that is 2% patient. If you look at the most common adverse events, they were mostly nausea and stomatitis, mostly grade 1 and 2. And there was a very low frequency of hematologic toxicities, diarrhea, or interstitial lung disease. No interstitial lung disease was found, which was drug related. So to conclude, in heavily pretreated patients of triple negative breast cancer, datopotamab deruxtecan showed encouraging results with durable efficacy. The response rate was around 34% in all patients of TNBC, which increased to 52% when you included patients who were naive to any topoisomerase 1 based antibody drug conjugates, and it demonstrated a manageable safety profile. Now coming to discussion, so there are a lot of new drugs that have come to in foray, both in anti-HER2 treatment as well as in triple negative breast cancers. When we talk about the anti-HER2 treatment, so these are the most important newer treatment that have come into. So we have trastuzumab deruxtecan as per the Destiny study, which have shown an overall response rate of around 60% with a median progression-free survival of 16.4 months. And in median line of treatment, that was 6 lines of treatment. So a very efficacious treatment in resistant HER2 positive breast cancers. And the next probably efficacious, if you look at the cross-trial comparison, is the tucatinib plus capecitabine plus trastuzumab as per the HER2CLIMB study, where with almost median of 4 lines of treatment, they achieved an overall response rate of around 47%, which was an intracranial response, and a median PFS of 7.8 months, which was almost 9.8 months in patients of brain metastasis as an intracranial progression-free survival. So these are the 2 most important HER2 treatment. And when you look at the trastuzumab go-karmazine, in compared to these 2 treatments, probably we see that the results are not that encouraging, and probably it is going to come to use after trastuzumab deruxtecan and tucatinib, and probably neratinib also. And looking at triple negative breast cancer, when you look at the antibody drug conjugates, I think sacituzumab govitecan, as per the Essence study, with the median of 4 lines of treatment showed an overall response rate of 35% with a median PFS of 5.6 months, which is the most encouraging result that we have. And trastuzumab deruxtecan in HER2 low subtype of TNBC is also showing wonderful results in patients who have even received up to 7 lines of treatment with almost 40% response rate and a median PFS of 11 months. So these are the two most important ones. And datopotamab, again, compared to these two, probably would come later on as per the whatever results we have, but still represents an advancement. So what we can conclude is probably, access to all these drugs is definitely an issue because these are going to be very costly and still not available for use in our country. They have to be imported. Cost benefit is something that will always go on to debate in metastatic setting in these situations, but definitely these all newer treatments are an advancement in our treatment landscape. Thank you for your patient listening.